I'm Prakalpa Pillai and he's my husband Chris Pillai. We are here to open your doors to the wonderful world of robotics.
What we have here is a prototype of a robot that we've been building for one of the competitions. And basically it's an autonomous robot. It can be programmed and it virtually follows the instructions that you ask it to do. And the other thing about robotics is it brings in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, IT, programming, and
even the field which is popular today, which is the creative design field, which is gaining a lot of momentum. So the look and feel of the robot and how it's going to be applied is equally important, which is something that kids normally don't pay attention to.
So the robot itself has three basic concepts. Just like human beings, it's sensing, deciding, and acting. So in this robot we have the controller, which is the brain of the robot. It's got a on-off switch here, and we can also toggle through the different programs. So this particular robot I'm holding has a number of sensors. It's got an ultrasound sensor in the front to detect proximity of obstacles. It's got a touch sensor at the back so that when it bumps into things, it knows it's time to reverse direction and so on and so forth. And we have a light sensor on the bottom so it can detect where it is and know its exact location. We also have a claw out here in the front to pick up things or move things around. Kids have fun, playing football, having karate choppers and things like that, which is introduced into our programs. And to make the robot move, there are wheels. The robot can be steered in any particular direction, and kids also get a concept of understanding which wheels to use, circumference of wheels with respect to distance traveled, and so on and so forth. So it virtually brings your science lesson and your mathematics.
So now, as you saw, this robot has been put together. It's a slick design, but there's a lot of work that goes behind putting a robot together. So now we are going to take you to our lab setup so you can actually see how we build a robot. Now we are in the robotics lab and I'm going to show you how to build one of these robots. We need a few parts that I'm going to tell you about that we'll be using to build this robot. So we'll be using the angular beams, some short angular beams, straight beams, 90-degree beams, T-beams, axles, several joints and connectors as well as bushings. We also are going to use some sensors such as ultrasonic sensor, light sensor, touch sensor, motors of course to make the robot move around, an NXT brick which is the brain of the robot, wheels and wires which act to connect the different parts to the computer of the robot. So here's the demonstration.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm using one of the bent beams to connect the next thing I need to do is connect another one for the other side of the wheel. Same process. And then I need to connect the beams to the brick, which simply again connects with those pins like that. Similar process for connecting the other wheel. Get the wheels ready, which gets an axle to the wheel and one of those short studs on one side and the long stud on the other side to stop it from hitting the motor. and I just push it into the motor and do the same thing with the long one on the other side and onto the next motor. So now I got two wheels connected to the brick, and now obviously we need two more wheels. So for that I take one of these bent beams, get one of the pins in, another pin, and it goes on one side. Same thing then goes on to the other beam, and it goes on to the other side. I turn it around, prepare the wheel, same process, axle to the wheel, longer stud, in through one side and another stud on the other side to stop the wheel from falling off. And connects it. And now to stabilize these two motors, at the moment you can see it's floppy, I can use one of these beams with some pins and stabilize the motor from moving around when the robot is working. So they pop into the robot like that. Which connects the arm motor. Now I need some sort of a picker arrangement to be able to lift my load, and what I do there is utilize one of these axles, connect one side, and one of these long pins on the other side. And then pop the other one on the other side. Then I can use two more of these connectors to connect it onto the motor. So that lets me lift the motor up and down. Now I'm ready to attach my sensors. So beam, which is this one here, and then I can connect it to the body of the robot. So that's my ultrasound sensor now connected to the robot. I need to be able to connect the light sensor and connect it like that. So now I got my light sensor and I got my ultrasound sensor. Now the third thing to get in is this touch sensor, for which I turn the robot on its side. Use these long blue connectors so that I can connect the touch sensor. Which goes through. Then I use one of these T-joints and then extend it with this connector here. And now I can connect my touch sensor to the bottom of that using the black connector, never mind. Connect it there, and I use this wheel just to increase the area of the touch area. So now when I press this, the robot will sense that. Now lastly, what we need to do is connect up all the motors and sensors to the computer. So I have a whole length of cables here. First of all, we'll connect the wheel. That's one of the motors connected to the computer. Now the second one, we do the same thing. Then we can connect the arm motor also through and then the sensors. Turn the robot around. Connect the sensor to one of the connections here, and the ultrasound sensor to the robot. And now we have a completed robot which is ready for programming.
As you saw in the lab, it really needs a lot of skills that the kids obtain in building one robot. And while they're using the mechanical and the hardware and the programming, it's really fun for them to see how it all comes together when they actually see a working model of the robot.
So, in conclusion, robotics is here to stay. It's a growing field and it adds a lot of value in our education. So, this is the reason that we are into robotics and we are promoting robotics in India today.